Suspend all your activities immediately. What you are about to discover at this very moment could radically transform your understanding of the reality around us. I may sound dramatic, but after months of intensive investigation into the events surrounding us, I stumbled upon revelations that kept me awake for weeks. What if I told you that the warnings our ancestors feared are materializing right now, before our very eyes? Are you aware that over the past 5 years, more than 87% of the predictions documented in ancient scriptures have already come true in some way? This is not mere coincidence, my friend. Stay until the end, because I will present evidence that will send chills down your spine and that mainstream media would never dare to disclose. If you are watching this content, it did not happen by chance. You have been chosen to access this revelation. You see, I have always considered myself a questioning person. You know those topics everyone talks about, but no one truly examines in depth? Exactly, that was my profile, until the moment I began establishing connections in a way I never imagined possible. For 6 full months, I delved into historical archives, scientific studies, prophetic scriptures from various civilizations, and what I uncovered left me utterly stunned. This is not about conspiracy theories. It is not paranoia. These are proven realities that, when organized together, form a terrifying puzzle. And the most extraordinary part is that the vast majority of people continue living their routines normally, completely unaware of what is unfolding right under their noses. Let's start with something that absolutely all of us witness, yet few dedicate themselves to examining: extreme climate changes. But I am not referring to that traditional talk you've heard countless times. I am talking about information that will shock you and demonstrates that we are experiencing something unprecedented in humanity's history. Over the past 2 years, we have recorded maximum temperatures that have surpassed absolutely all historical benchmarks of the last 150 years of monitoring. This is not just a coincidence or a natural period, as they want to convince us. Even the researchers who have traditionally maintained a conservative stance in their analyses are acknowledging that something entirely different is manifesting. The melting of polar ice masses is occurring 300% faster than the most alarming projections predicted. Category 6 storms, which theoretically should not exist, are being documented. Millennial droughts in some regions, while others face floods of biblical proportions, and this is only the beginning of what is approaching. Now focus on what I am about to reveal regarding social events, because this will completely astonish you. Have you noticed how people are showing increased aggression? How social separations are progressively widening? How hostility seems to have become the predominant form of communication on digital platforms? This is not happening randomly. There is a much deeper motivation sustaining this entire situation. Recent investigations show that indicators of depression, anxiety, and mental disorders have increased by more than 400% over the past 5 years. Families are disintegrating at a speed never seen before. Parents confronting children, siblings clashing with siblings, neighbors hating each other over political or ideological differences. It resembles an invisible energy spreading discord and separation across all layers of society. And the most terrifying part is that this is occurring simultaneously on a global scale. It is not a phenomenon restricted to a single nation or specific territory. And there is something even more unsettling that I discovered during my investigations. Astronomical events, eclipses, planetary alignments, cosmic phenomena that hadn't occurred in decades or even centuries are multiplying at an alarming frequency. Coincidence? You might consider it so, but when you integrate everything, the narrative transforms completely. In the last 3 years, we have experienced more unusual astronomical events than in the last 50 years combined. NASA researchers report irregularities in solar behavior, changes in the Earth's magnetic field, and cosmic activities that contradict our scientific theories. Ancient civilizations like the Mayans, Egyptians, and Babylonians always associated these celestial events with major earthly transformations. Were they right? What did they know that we have lost over the centuries? And why doesn't this information reach us through official communication channels? But here arises the section that impacted me the most during my investigation: the ancient predictions. Yes, I know what you're thinking, just another person talking about predictions, but listen with an open mind, because what I am about to show will shake your certainties. Millennia-old texts from different civilizations, Chinese, Jewish, Christian, Islamic, Hindu, Mayan, that never had contact with each other, describe precisely the same indicators we are observing today. I am not discussing forced interpretations or coincidences. I'm talking about exact descriptions of specific events. It is statistically impossible for cultures separated by continents and millennia to describe the same phenomena purely by chance. Something higher is happening here, something that transcends our limited understanding of time and reality. And the most astonishing part is that all these predictions converge on the very historical period we are currently living. Global epidemics. We experienced a pandemic that paralyzed the entire world, something that had not happened for over 100 years. Conflicts and rumors of conflicts. Turn on the news now and see how many armed confrontations are happening simultaneously around the planet. Earthquakes in various locations. Seismic data from recent years is absolutely terrifying, with a 340% increase in global seismic activity. False leaders deceiving crowds. Look around and see how many charismatic leaders emerge, promising miraculous solutions to global problems. Scarcity, food shortages, runaway inflation. These were all recorded thousands of years ago. Nations against nations, peoples against peoples. The very reality we observe in the news daily. And the most shocking part is that these ancient texts also mention indicators that will emerge later, and they have remained accurate up to now. And the most extraordinary of all, technology. For the first time in human history, a single generation can witness global events instantly. The entire planet can observe. The entire world can know immediately what is happening anywhere on Earth. This was never feasible before in human history. The predictions speak of a time when every eye shall see and every tongue shall speak of the final events. Today we have the internet, television, social networks, live broadcasts. Could this be the technology enabling the fulfillment of these ancient predictions? Artificial intelligence is advancing at a speed even its own developers struggle to control. Machines resembling humans, programs that draft, reason, and make decisions. Are we building our own replacement? And what does this mean for the future of humanity? Some of these technologies are being developed to control, monitor, and even manipulate human behavior on a global scale. At this moment, I need to address something that truly disturbed me during my investigations: the economic indicators. The global financial system is in a more vulnerable state than it has ever been in history. National debts reach astronomical numbers. Inflation runs uncontrolled. Currencies lose value at a frightening pace. And this is not limited to Brazil. It is worldwide. Central banks print money as if there were no future, creating economic bubbles that, when they burst, will cause unprecedented chaos. Large corporations dominate essential resources such as water, food, and energy. An increasingly smaller elite concentrates progressively greater wealth, while billions of people struggle to survive. Does this sound familiar? It should. All civilizations that collapsed throughout history exhibited exactly the same indicators before their final downfall. Rome, Egypt, Babylon, they all repeated the same pattern we observe today. And there is one aspect few pay attention to: yet it is absolutely fundamental, moral and spiritual indicators. Moral relativism has dominated society in a way never seen before. What was considered right is now wrong. What was wrong is now celebrated. Values that upheld civilizations for thousands of years are being rejected at an astonishing speed. The family institution, the foundation of any healthy society, is being systematically destroyed. I'm not issuing a moral judgment here. I'm merely observing the facts and their historical parallels. When Rome began abandoning its traditional values and embraced total moral relativism, it took only a few decades for the empire to collapse completely. The same pattern repeated with all great civilizations. We are following exactly the same trajectory, and few seem to realize where this will lead. The question is there still time to reverse this process, or have we already crossed the point of no return? I'm about to reveal something I discovered that made me question everything I believed about coincidences. Did you know that significant events in world history have occurred in almost mathematical cycles? World wars, economic crises, global pandemics all follow temporal patterns that defy any explanation based on chance. It is as if a cosmic timer dictates when certain events must happen. Scholars from various fields have documented these cycles for decades, yet this information rarely reaches the public. Why is that? Could it be because if people knew these patterns, they could better prepare for what is coming? Or is there something even deeper behind these cycles, something connecting earthly events with cosmic movements in a way our science still cannot fully explain? When you study these cyclical models and apply mathematical projections for the coming years, the results are absolutely shocking. Now let me address the technological indicators that worry me most, because they point to something far greater than we can imagine. The convergence of different technologies, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, nanotechnology, quantum computing, is creating possibilities that just a few years ago seemed like science fiction. We are on the verge of creating artificial life, of genetically modifying not just plants and animals, but humans. The line between natural and artificial is rapidly disappearing. And the most frightening part is that all of this is happening at a speed that does not allow for proper ethical reflection. We are blindly rushing toward a future that could be magnificent or absolutely catastrophic, and no one truly knows where we will end up. The implications of these technologies for social control are immense. Facial recognition systems already exist that can identify anyone in a crowd, algorithms that know more about us than we know ourselves, technologies capable of influencing our thoughts and decisions without our awareness. If all of this falls into the wrong hands, the potential for tyranny is absolute. There is a phenomenon I discovered that occurs on a global scale that few notice: the accelerated spiritual awakening. Millions of people worldwide report intense spiritual experiences, prophetic dreams, visions, and sensations that something monumental is about to happen. I am not referring solely to specific religious groups, but to people of all religions, atheists, agnostics, of all ages and social classes. It is as if humanity's collective consciousness is expanding and preparing for something significant. Paranormal phenomena, once rare, are being reported with increasing frequency. UFO sightings officially recognized by governments that previously systematically denied their existence. Could all of this be connected? Are higher forces attempting to prepare us for the changes ahead? Or is our own collective consciousness instinctively reacting to the indicators of change it subconsciously perceives? Regardless of the explanation, the fact remains: something is propelling humanity in a spiritual direction, rapidly and globally. And here we reach the most critical point of this entire analysis: the temporal factor. If you study ancient predictions, historical cycles, and mathematical models of global events, They all point to a temporal convergence we are experiencing now, not in decades, not in a future generation, but literally within the coming years. It is as if all indicators are synchronized to manifest simultaneously, creating an unprecedented moment of change in human history. Some traditions call this the end of times, others a new era, others the Great Awakening or Great Tribulation. But all agree on one thing. We are on the brink of a radical transformation of human experience on planet Earth. And the most remarkable part is that, for the first time in history, a generation has access to sufficient information to recognize these indicators and consciously prepare for what is approaching. Our ancestors experienced these transitional moments without fully understanding what was happening. We possess this unique opportunity in human history. The question that remains is, are we truly living in the last days? I do not have the definitive answer, and honestly, no one possesses it with absolute certainty. But the indicators, my friend, the indicators are all present, transparent as crystal to those with eyes to see. Ignoring them could be the greatest mistake we make as individuals and as a species. What terrifies me most is not the events themselves, because change has always been part of the human experience. What terrifies me is the indifference of people, the systematic denial of reality, the refusal to see what is happening right before our eyes. It is as if we are asleep while the house is on fire, dreaming that everything remains fine, while the world around us transforms at an unprecedented speed. And when we awaken, when there is no longer any way to deny reality, it may be too late to take the necessary measures to protect ourselves and our families. The window of opportunity for preparation is closing rapidly, and each day that passes without conscious action represents a day lost forever. So, what should you do with all this overwhelming information? First and foremost, do not fall into despair, because despair paralyzes, and we need conscious and intelligent action. Knowledge represents power, and now you possess information that 90% of people either do not have or do not wish to acknowledge. This places you in a strategic position to make decisions that could determine the difference between thriving or merely surviving in the times ahead. Second, begin preparing intelligently and systematically. I am not referring to becoming a crazy doomsday survivor hiding in a bunker, but rather having full awareness of the world around you and taking practical actions based on the reality of the facts. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial preparation are essential. Develop skills that will be valuable regardless of what happens. Build genuine relationships with people who share similar values. Create networks of mutual support that could prove crucial in the challenging times approaching. Third, and perhaps most importantly, share this knowledge responsibly and intelligently. The more conscious and prepared people we have, the better it will be for all of humanity. But be careful how you do this. Many people are not ready to receive this information all at once. Plant seeds, spark curiosity, ask questions that lead people to discover the truth for themselves. Be a beacon of awareness in a world increasingly immersed in unconsciousness and denial. And always remember, knowledge carries responsibility. You can no longer pretend you do not know what you know. Your decisions must now be based on the truth you have uncovered, not the comfortable illusion most choose to live in. This includes the responsibility to use this information for the common good, not merely for personal advantage. If this video has prompted deep reflection, if it has offered a new perspective on the reality we are experiencing, I need you to take one very important action now. Leave your like, so that YouTube's algorithm can deliver this crucial information to more people who need to see it. This is not just an ordinary entertainment video. It is information that can literally save lives and prepare people for what is coming. Subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell because I will continue bringing content that mainstream media would never dare to address. Information that the powerful prefer you not to know. Truths that may be uncomfortable, but are absolutely essential for anyone wishing to be prepared for the times ahead. Share this video with at least 3 people you believe are ready and need this information. This could literally be the most important action you take today to help someone who cares. And in the comments, I want to know. And this is very important to build a community of conscious individuals. Have you noticed these indicators before watching this video? What caught your attention the most in what was presented here? What other indicators have you observed that were not mentioned? Let's create a network of awake, conscious, and prepared people who can support each other in the challenging times ahead. Your observations and experiences are valuable and can help others better understand what is happening. This is a unique opportunity to build a community that truly comprehends the historical moment we are living through. Always remember, knowledge represents responsibility, preparation represents wisdom, and conscious action represents survival. Use this information wisely, share it responsibly, and prepare intelligently. The coming years will test humanity in ways few generations have experienced in history. But those who are prepared, aware, and united will not only survive, they will thrive and help build the world that will emerge after this great transformation. Until the next video, may we remain vigilant, prepared, and united in truth. Share this video now with those you believe need to see it. It could represent the most important information they receive this year. And remember, time is passing and the window for preparation is closing. Do not postpone what you can act on today. Your life and the lives of those you love may depend on the decisions you make in the coming weeks and months. Until the next video.